there's this myth that to be more successful and to get better results, you need to burn out or work longer or hustle harder. And no doubt it requires some grit and resilience. I really do believe that. However, the research is actually there showing that you can strive satisfied and that your results will be just as good, if not better, if you're taking care of your energy along the way and you are pouring into your relationships and you're having fun along the way too.
Hey sis, welcome to the Sisterhood Soul and Strategy podcast, a space for women building businesses that feel as good as they look. I'm Steph, a small town girl from Wisconsin with big dreams to positively impact the world. This podcast is from the heart, where we share real conversations about building intentional businesses that thrive in every season. And the best part, we talk both soul and strategy, and we wrap it all up in sisterhood. Because let's be real, business is more fun in community. So no matter your age or stage of small business ownership, you stumbled upon this podcast for a reason. Now, let's get to the good stuff. This week's episode is from the archives. I actually recorded it when my podcast was on pause before I rebranded into the Sisterhood Soul and Strategy podcast, but it's a conversation that needs to be heard. And as I listen back to it, even though I recorded this almost a year ago, the same topics and themes and challenges that Molly and I discuss in this episode continue to come up in my own life, as well as my conversations with so many other women who are high achieving or business owners and especially moms. So I hope you enjoy this conversation about balancing the load of motherhood and ambition together. Welcome back to the Soul Driven with Steph podcast. I'm so excited to introduce our guest here today. Let's welcome to the podcast, Molly Asplin.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I feel like this has been a long time coming, this conversation. We've been following each other. I've connected to you through my sister, Catherine, and I'm just so excited to dive in today. Molly, you are a high performance coach. Tell us about, how did you get to where you are now? And what does that mean? What do you do and who do you serve?
Yeah, sometimes people hear high performance coach and they're like, are you helping people lift weights? What does that mean? So I actually have a background in accounting and finance. That's what I went to school for. And then I started my career out of college and worked at a big corporation here in the Twin Cities. And I thought I would just, climb the corporate ladder until retirement and that would be my life. And I got probably 5 years into my career and I was like, this isn't who I am. This doesn't feel aligned. I was driving to work every morning, just feeling really stuck and what is this all there is? Is this what I'm going to do until I'm 65? And it felt very disaligned. And I didn't even know the language to use then. I was just like, this is not it. And so simultaneously, like you, Steph, I loved fitness and I was a group fitness instructor and personal trainer. So I was doing a lot of that on the side, which I did have passion for. And so I thought, do I want to do more of that? Would that bring me more joy? I just wanted to feel happier. I felt very apathetic every day, just very blah. And I felt like every day my spark was kind of fading. And anyway, I was doing some health coaching on the side. And then I got into online coaching via Beachbody. And I was like, this is kind of filling my void of fulfillment in the evenings. It's bringing me some joy. And so I built a large team with Beachbody for 10 years, pivoted away from my corporate job, left corporate and did that for 10 years. And then until they disbanded the network. And that was just about 1 year ago. And so that was a big pivot for me. And I think I was also very ready for that, for a new chapter and for a new challenge. And so that's what brought me to high performance coaching, which is really helping women build sustainably with their energy so that they're not burning out and so that they can really enjoy the ride. I work with a lot of just high achieving women who want it to feel good. And, they're in new seasons, be it motherhood or just busier season of life, where they need to make sure that how they're operating actually matches with the life that they have today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it. We have so many similarities in our journeys in that, 10 years of building a business and then, realizing whether we're forced through it, like we've talked about, or it was just a hard decision that we had to make, that it was time to pivot and do something new and exciting. So, what do you feel like when you were in that moment of, okay, the way that I built my business for the last 10 years is no longer? What was that feeling like? And how did that inspire you to launch yourself into what you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, at first it was a scary feeling, right? Because my identity was kind of wrapped up in, well, this is what I've built and this is what I've worked so hard to build. So how do I pivot in a way that feels the best? But pretty quickly thereafter, I looked at what are my top strengths and
Yeah.
what do I love and what do I really want to spend my days doing? And coaching, was always the part of health and fitness. Coaching, mentoring people, helping them see their strengths and challenging them and pushing them into, a place of better alignment for themselves and helping them go after their dreams and being that third party. That was always the part that I liked the most. And so I said, okay, I want some structure for this and I do want to become certified and I want to really be able to elevate people in an intelligent way. So I got some training on that and then yeah, launched my business like a few months after that. So,
Amazing. So, give us a little sneak peek. What does it look like to work with you? What is high performance coaching? Like you said, so a lot of times people don't know what that means.
yeah.
Like why would someone feel they need that sort of push, and how do you pour back into people to help them recognize their strengths?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So, high performance, there's this myth that to get to be more successful and to get better results, you need to burn out or work longer or hustle harder, and no doubt it requires some grit and resilience. I
Sure.
really do believe that. However, the research is actually there showing that you can strive satisfied and that your results will be just as good, if not better, if you're taking care of your energy along the way and you are pouring into your relationships and you're having fun along the way too. And so, high performance, I'm really helping people with productivity, with energy, influence, persuasion, clarity. A lot of people, they don't really know what they want, and they're like, I thought I knew what I wanted, but I don't know if I do, and my life season is different, and I think I need some new direction. It's like, is this a midlife crisis or a quarter century crisis? We get into those ruts in life, and so helping people a lot with clarity and the direction that they want to go, and then also helping them build it in a way that feels really, really good. And so I work with my one-on-one clients for 12 weeks
Okay.
for an hour per week. And follow a structure. So we're really moving you forward every week. It's not just like, hey, come and chit chat, right? We are moving you forward progress. And you're talking about these things with a third party, me, who is able to ask you those intelligent questions, which sometimes we just need to verbally process it with someone outside of our world.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. And just as someone who has found so much value in investing in my own coaches. I have a coach for real estate, and I've had plenty of business coaches over the years that I've hired to help me get through some of those like stuck points, or even just push
Yeah.
me when I'm not really feeling it. I'm not feeling excited or inspired. And um, a lot of times, just honestly reminding you who you are and what you're capable of. We need coaches in so many different areas of our lives. So I love that. What does it look like for you to
have these types of high performance habits in your own life? Because I'm assuming a lot of this is coming from the lifestyle that you're building and how you do it for yourself to be able to then give that advice to your clients.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I'm so interested in this work is because I really needed it for myself too. And I, just grew up with the mentality and it was probably part of my background and my upbringing that the longer I work, the better my results will be. And so all throughout college, I was always like the last one in the library and I just
Right.
always thought like, "Oh, I'll just work harder and that's how I'll do it." And that worked really fine until I had kids. And then I was like, "I can't do that because I'm not sleeping." Like, I'm legit staying up till, like, 1 AM, and then my kid is waking up, and, like, I can't
Uh-huh.
sustain. And so I needed better ways of doing it, and when I came across high performance habits and that it was research backed, I just, like I loved that because I love, like, increasing my output, but in a way that feels better. And so, yeah, what it looks like for me, is just doing higher impact activities with better energy.
Mhm.
I work a 4-day work week and I have 3 young kids, and so I really have to optimize that time well and strategically, and I mean, the high performance energy and the productivity stuff has really, really helped me, and I'm happy to, like, break it down more, but I'd say that's that and the courage is a big part of high performance too, so making sure you're stepping into the work that really does get you out of your comfort zone and not just spinning your wheels with the busy work. I think a lot of us
Yes.
can get trapped in that too.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, I love this. Yes, I agree. I wore my work ethic as like a badge of honor.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
I still have to find myself being like, I don't need to outwork everyone else, like to prove that I have worth or value or whatever. And I reached a point even in my own business that was really my breaking point. I was like, I can't actually work any harder. Like, I
Right.
literally cannot. So, if this isn't gonna work at this level, like, I have to change something, and I think a lot of us reach that point, and like you said, becoming a mom, yes, because you literally don't have the time and the
Mhm.
energy like you did prior to having kids, and I've experienced that firsthand. I love that you're doing a 4-day work week. That's basically what I've been doing all year, and it's incredible to me what I'm able to accomplish when I actually have less time but more focused work, right? So that is,
Mhm.
I think, a huge part of like, you don't actually have to work 5 days a week. You don't have
Right.
to, I mean, you can really structure your week however you want to if you're really focused on those needle moving activities. So I would love to know, just because I'm such a nerd about like systems and how people approach their week. How do you go into your week? Like, what does that look like for you? Do you have a like ritual or routine that helps you focus your work into those 4 days?
Yeah, I mean, on so Thursday afternoons, as I'm with my kids on Fridays. So on Thursday afternoons, I will look at my next week. I use Google Calendar for everything,
Yes.
and I will look ahead at what's coming. I mean, my Google Calendar is like bookended each day with like my morning routine activities and then
Love.
I gotta pick up kids. So I always have an end time too, which
Yes.
like kids give you that end time, you
Yes, they
know?
do.
And then I'm just very strategic about where I'm placing things on that calendar. So I'm really big on batching. And so I will like clump meetings together like midday. I'd rarely have meetings before 9:30.
Yep.
Like I do a lot of my like output sales activity, like Molly's needle movers before 9, like in that early part of the day, because my energy is just the best then. And then I'll do a lot of podcast recordings and meetings and client sessions pretty much all between like 10 and 3. It's kind of like my like mm, output, talking to people, talking to the world, talking to Stephanie time. And
Mhm.
then at the end, I really do try to build in a transition window of like 15 to 30 minutes because when my kids get home, it just gets wild. And if I just try to go from office to mom, it's very difficult. And so
Mhm.
building in that transition time, whether it's a quick walk around my neighborhood or just breathing or a quiet drive to daycare, that really helps me too. But that's, yeah, that's kind of how I set up my weeks and my days.
Okay, I love that.
Good.
I find myself doing so many of the same things. And yeah, I do not book things before 10 a.m.
Yeah.
because that is like my creative time or just me needing to like have that morning routine, get my workout done, walk my dog, eat my breakfast, shower, then getting into my work. Like you just need to create those time slots. And
Yes.
I'm a big proponent of like designated days. Like there are just certain days that I don't take meetings. I'm just doing
Sure.
focused work. So I love that you even do that like with the time frames in your day, right? Like your 10 to 3 is more like client facing you're having conversations with people. But I just think like the more that we can be intentional about, yeah, those periods of when we're most creative or focused, being to ourselves and not answering emails or taking meetings or, just doing all of those other type of like buffer activities is so, so helpful.
Yeah.
Another thing that I know I've followed your content and I know this is something that is going to resonate with listeners, whether you're a business owner or not, a mom or not, it's the mental load that I
Mm.
think women carry. And I've experienced this even more in the last 10 months of being a mom is incredible. Like women are superhuman. I don't know how we do it sometimes, but we do. And I think a lot of it is just that we feel like we have to or it's on us. To remember the birthday gift and the baby shower and the meal that we're going to make tonight and the little bill, the bill we need to mail out tomorrow. It's like never ending. So could you talk a little bit through like how have you seen this play out in your own life and in your client's life, and what are some tips that you give people who are carrying a really heavy load?
Oh my gosh, this is so real. And I feel like it's sort of exponentially compounded for me in the last few years. And I'm not really sure why, but I kind of know why. And when I learned this term, which I think will help everyone, it was helpful for me to name it, and it's called the squeeze. And the
Mm,
squeeze is this time period in your life, typically 30s, early 40s, where you're having kids, perhaps. You might be, so you're caregiving for family. You're also maybe caregiving for parents if your parents are elderly. Your career is not yet at its height, but it is it's very demanding, right? You still want to earn and produce, and there's a lot of leadership involved typically at this point in our careers. Your household tasks are really high for family, meals, food, scheduling, birthday parties, all these things. And so it doesn't just, like you don't just feel like, oh, I have less hours or I feel so spread thin. It's actually true. Like the data is there that your hours are squeezed a lot less in this period of life. And then you do get some relief as your kids get older
yeah.
and things like that. So, from what I can hear from my older friends, like there is reprieve in the future, but right now I'm in the squeeze. Stephanie, you're in the squeeze,
Yeah.
and it's real. And the mental load is a lot of these invisible things that we're carrying. Women tend to carry about 71% of the lift in the home and family. And so and it's not to say, men are bad or they're not doing their share. It's just, I think a lot of it is the system in which we've grown up in. Like we've carried a lot of this. And now, though, a lot of women are in the workforce. And so it creates this double edged sword where it's like, yeah, we're working and we're producing and we're earning incomes and we are grocery shopping and cooking and cleaning. It's like it's too much.
Totally.
And so what has helped me is it's literally not possible to do it all. I mean, I've tried and quote unquote failed. And then you just feel like a failure. And what has really helped me is knowing that most people are not doing it all. And when you dive inside of what are, especially dual income households, what are the two parents doing? A lot of them have childcare, they have after school care, they have a housekeeper for, cleaning service maybe once a month. Maybe they're doing Instacart. They're just getting some support. And
Mhm.
that support could be paid or it can be they're dividing it up, maybe better between the two partners. And so just communicating about it has really helped me, talking about it, right? Having conversations like this and not just acting like I'm doing it all or I'm, doing it
Yeah.
all perfectly. Like because we're just not. And I think once you let go of that standard for yourself, it's just you settle in and life gets a little bit easier.
If you don't know by now, you should know that I am a crunchy millennial mom, and I am very specific about what kind of products I put on my skin, especially when it comes to makeup. And I love that I found a clean makeup line that is local to me and owned by an incredible female small business owner called Elm & Co. Some of my favorite products include the lip oil that keep my lips hydrated while I'm sleeping, the mineral activated, so it's water activated eyeshadow, because if you can't tell, I love a shimmer and shine eyeshadow that stays on all day. And I also use the cream blush Summer's Kiss and the lipstick Sparks Fly. Use my code STAFF at checkout to save 15% off on every order you purchase. If you're looking for a clean makeup line that leaves your skin feeling healthy, glowing, and you can feel good about it, go shop Elm & Co. today.
Yeah, totally. I always say, like, when people ask, how do you do it all? I say, I don't. I
Yeah.
have literally systems and support in every area of my life. And that is how I'm able to even do what I can. And I totally feel that. And I actually feel like my husband is so helpful. And, I think generationally we've kind of changed, right? We've
Mhm.
had to because both partners are typically working now. And even as an entrepreneur, I still feel like I'm the default parent because I have quote unquote flexibility
Flexibility. Mhm.
that it
Mm.
gets a little challenging because I'm like, okay, well, I am trying to run, multiple businesses. I'm already working less hours, especially when I was like not getting enough sleep and nursing still. My days were cut even shorter. And yet, if something happens, like it's
It
on me
was on
to
you. Yeah.
go, my son was just sick. So, who took that time off with him? It was me.
Yes.
Who, is the person that's, just I think taking on that extra responsibility oftentimes is the mom, and especially if she's an entrepreneur, or just someone
Mhm.
that has more flexibility. So, and again, it's not to like diss my husband by any means, but it just is what it is. And so I think, yes, bringing in support in whatever way that looks like. I mean, I've had a friend that comes in, does like bare minimum cleaning at my house for 1 hour a week. I had her
Amazing.
start at the end of my pregnancy because I physically couldn't do it anymore. And I knew I wouldn't be able to early in maternity leave. And you know what? I still don't have the time to clean my whole house
No.
every week like I used to. And so continuously having her come once a week for literally an hour is a game changer. And
Yeah.
so it's like, where can you invite that into your life? Because, man, just that 1 hour of time, right? Like, gives me my Sunday back. I don't have to stress out every weekend feeling like, how am I going to clean my house when I'm trying to take care of my kid? So, whatever that looks like, I think we all have to just, like you said, have that kind of like acceptance of like, okay, I can't do it all. I need help. Here's where I can start to bring that in. Because it's just gonna make you feel less overwhelmed, less stressed, and you can do more with the energy that you have
Mhm.
then.
It's definitely a release of control, and I think if anyone's listening and going, "Oh, but I can clean and I can do these things," and it's I just had to adopt the mindset just because I can doesn't mean I should. And,
Yes.
every time you're doing that, you are sort of devaluing your time, and I think especially for business owners, if you just keep absorbing more and more and more, what was happening to me is I was just really devaluing my time.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, now I don't have time for the things that I want to be doing because I just carried the load for everyone else in this house. And so when I shifted my mindset and I just kind of let go of the guilt or stigma around it, and we also have to know it was different for our parents. And so what I
Hmm.
saw my mom do it's not transferable to my season. My life looks totally different than and parenting expectations, extracurriculars for kids, there's a lot of outside forces that have changed in the system, and so we need to evolve as well and be okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not the same world that it
No.
was 20, 30 years ago. And it's so interesting to me because it's like technology has made us move faster, right? We can do things at such a faster pace, which is a double-edged sword
Yeah,
because now it's
it
like
is.
trying to keep up, right? Like yes, we can work faster, but now trying to keep up with everything else in our household, especially, like it just becomes this impossible task. And that's where I feel like so many women struggle, like we're falling short, like we're not a good mom or we're not a good wife or whatever, good person because we can't keep our house clean. And it's just so silly, but it really does feel that way when you are in the thick of it. And I know how having a clean space gives me clarity. I work from
Sure.
home. I need a clean space. So again, that hour a week is so worth it. So I'm constantly telling women like, where can you invite that in? Where can you and just try it? Like you don't have to commit forever. Just
Quiet.
try it
Yes.
for a
Right.
season. Maybe it is just a season. Like I just did it for maternity leave and then realized this is really great. Like let's keep
Then you
it
kept it.
going.
Good for you. Yeah, we have a monthly house cleaner as well, and then Steve and I just did the Fair Play cards. I don't know if you've heard of those by Eve
Oh
Rodsky.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was really helpful too because every season of motherhood and business, and my husband works a corporate job out of the house, like it's always changing for us. And so
Yes.
having acceptance of like what worked in the summer now doesn't work for the school year.
Yeah.
And when we get into the winter, things will probably change again. And so the cards really help you attach ownership, one of the partners' ownership to a certain task. Like,
I love that.
everything from hosting to vacuuming to, the emotional load of the kids, just very has been very helpful for us to have so we know who's doing what.
And it's called Fair Play cards.
Fair play cards. Yeah, you can get them on
Okay.
Amazon. So,
Love that. Okay. I
yep.
love a good tangible tip that we can activate right away. That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about just finding purpose in your work because, you work a lot with women in corporate or in careers and you are a business owner yourself, but like whether you're a business owner or not, it's so important to find purpose and passion in what you're doing, right? To feel that sense of fulfillment. And even as a business owner, we have to come back to our why and the soul behind our business so often when especially when we're in hard seasons. So what is that for you? What's the soul of your business? What's the why? And how do you continue to find purpose in what you're doing even in those seasons when you're like maybe in transition or feeling like you're called to something more, not really sure what that is?
Yeah, I love helping women like pull out their strengths and input that into their careers. I find that a lot of women get caught up in, a title or doing something just because sure they're good at it or they've developed a skill in it, but it's not actually like their main strength or what they want to do. And so I love working with women on, but what are your like favorite things? Or you know, if you could get compensated to do like three core things, what would they be? I don't think a lot of people think about that. And so I do work with a women a lot on like, what do they shine at? Their zone of genius, if you've ever read that book. I really believe that's part of my purpose. And then actually helping them build that tangibly into their life. I have like a very left brain, like an accounting brain. And so I like helping people bring it to life in a tactical, I'll say realistic way. Because I think a lot of times we can hear this stuff like, oh, find your purpose, find your passion. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, but I have bills to pay. Like, tell me how
Yeah.
I'm going to make this an actual business or tell me how I could make it sustainable. And so I love talking through that with women and helping them, maybe it is go into consulting or maybe it is they have a part-time job and they're building a part-time business. Like there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I love like really helping them bring it to life.
Yeah, I love that too. And that's again like where we find that purpose in our work and knowing our strengths. Are you familiar with Working Genius?
No, I'm not familiar with Working Genius.
Oh my gosh, you are going to be
Okay,
obsessed.
I'm gonna write that down. Working Genius.
Working Genius. I have been introduced to this concept. It's Patrick Lencioni
Okay.
um, well, there's a book, but like it's really like take a quiz and you figure out what it'll give you your two strengths and then your working frustrations, they're called.
Mm.
And I think it's just so helpful to know like, oh, this is why I hate this kind of work because I'm actually in my working in my frustration when I'm doing that. It's not that I'm bad at it, it's just not my genius. And so I think like you would really resonate with it because it is just that. It's like telling you like, hey, this is what you're really good at and this is what you should spend most of your time doing to feel that sense of like purpose and satisfaction.
Yeah, that makes a lot of and is it different from the Gay Hendricks Zone of Genius book? Have you read the Zone of Genius book?
No, and I'm
Okay.
gonna have to read that
Yeah.
because I've read his other books and loved them.
It's
So
probably I mean, maybe it's similar concepts, but it'll
I
be fun
know
to
we're gonna have
compare.
to
Yeah.
compare. Okay, so two great resources. If you are someone that's like, I need to figure out what my genius is, what my strengths are, Working Genius and Zone of Genius. I can't wait to dig into this because I find it so fascinating. And just there, it never hurts to know more about yourself and really understand like how you operate and why you
So true.
operate the way you
So
do.
true.
Um, so what would you say is what is driving your soul towards the future? Like, what do you see on the horizon for you? I'm a visionary. I love like knowing what people are chasing so I can cheer them on and just like knowing what you're going after.
Oh, I love this question so much. I have a really strong passion, conviction for helping workplaces be
Mm,
more better equipped for how we're actually living life. Going back to the mental load, the 4-day work week, as a business owner, we sort of get to design this and that's fine. But if you're a W-2 employee, or even if you have a part-time job, or even if your partner has a W-2 type job, you kind of start to see like the system is not set up for two working parents. It's not
mhm.
that it's has not been modernized for the times that we're in. And it is still very much set up so that one parent stays at home. I mean, the 40-hour work week was created in the 1940s from the Fair Labor Standards Act. And it's like we're all still trying to shove ourselves into working 40 hours from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and yet my child's school gets out at 2:30. And so it all feels very outdated to me. And so part of my vision is definitely partnering with corporations and saying, "Hey, how can we actually make this more conducive to parents who are in the squeeze?" And so
Mhm.
that cuz women are also leaving the workplace in droves. Like
Yeah.
it's not working, and these are very high talented, high performing women that are leaving, and that just does not feel right for me. It really bothers me. And so I really believe that there's a better way, and I think it's going to take some trial and error. And I think going back to what we talked about in the beginning, Stephanie, it's going to take proving that we can create high impact, value added work for said company in less hours. Um, and hopefully less days too, because I a lot of the women I work with crave the 4-day work week, or they just say more margin. I need more capacity. I need one day at home to fold the laundry,
Do my
or
laundry.
yeah, like all the mounds of laundry, right?
Yeah.
So that is definitely something that I will be working on. That's a multi-year plan. So
I
something.
love that, and I love that you're really just looking at, okay, here's what I'm seeing based on my clients, based on my own experience, based on my husband. Like, I mean, majority of the people around us are not business owners, right? Majority
Right.
of them are working in that sort of corporate America. Let's get to the root of why we're seeing what we're seeing because it's not something that like yes you can make changes to your own life and do as much as you can like personally, but if you are working for someone else, it has to come from the company too, and the desire and the need to want to support your employees in that sort of way, which I
Right.
do think we're starting to see. Like you said, there's so many people leaving the workforce that like obviously there's going to have to be some changes made to keep people engaged and
Yeah.
committed and wanting to stay in their careers. But I agree, like just getting to the root cause of kind of the system in general. The system is broken, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of systems that are broken. And this is one of them that impacts everyone.
There are. And I think, I think every systematic change starts on an individual level, which
Hmm.
is exactly what you and I are doing, right? We're like, okay, I can create my business in 4 days a week, but I have to be really on those 4 days. And like, here's kind of how I have to set it up. And I think you can then transfer that into a corporation or a, small, mid-size, what have you. But I think a lot of it does start at the individual level, and that's where I've been. But yeah, in the future, I would love to take that into the workplace.
Hey sis, it's Steph here, and I just want to interrupt this episode to ask you if you're listening to this podcast and you have not stepped inside our community. What are you waiting for? What makes Sister Circle so special is that we have both virtual and in-person opportunities for not just connection, but growth and learning and implementation and actually moving the needle in our business on the things that we know are going to make a difference. I want to invite you to join us inside our Circle community for 30 days for just $30 to really experience the energy, the community, and the strategy and all the resources that we have inside of our community. So you're going to get access to as many meetings that are happening in real time, in person, virtual. Really, truly, it's the connections to the women and the sisters inside this community that are priceless. Just join us for a full month to really get the full experience of what Sister Circle is all about. Click the link in the show notes to experience Sister Circle inside our community today.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited for you and to see which companies are like really willing to make those changes. And I think it's been a long time coming. But it is something that we're going to have to see change happen. Otherwise, yeah, like I mean, that's truly why I think so many women are looking into entrepreneurship so that they can stay home with their kids more and they have that margin, which of course brings new challenges of trying to be a stay-at-home mom and run a business. That to me is, I mean, that's incredible that people do this.
Incredible or
And
impossible, but
I mean, yes, it is
yeah,
so challenging.
very
Um,
there's challenges with it. Put it that way.
yes, that just comes back to that full circle of like support and
Mhm.
needing to build support for every area of our life. So what does that look like for you, whether it's motherhood, like the household, or even in your own business? What are some things that you have either outsourced or delegated or used technology to your advantage to build that sort of margin into your own life?
Yeah, I love this question. I wish like we could all be like super I wish you could hear this from everyone, right? But
Yes.
let's see, we have a house cleaner for I'll start with the home stuff. We have a house cleaner that comes once a month and does like a deep clean. So I was telling a girlfriend the other day, I'm like, I don't even know where our vacuum is right now. Like I don't vacuum. And I don't say that, flippantly, but I really rely on the monthly housekeeping service, and because we don't want to spend our weekends deep cleaning. So that has kind of like your weekly hour. I love that.
Yep.
My kids go to childcare 4 days a week, and my oldest is in first grade, so she's in the school system. And so I quickly realized on my motherhood journey that I could not build a business, work with kids in the house, like do the ping pong back and forth. I kind of envy the people who can do it, but it's not me. I need to like be focused and have it quiet. And so, yeah, 4 days a week they're in paid childcare. Um, what else? I get these meals called Let's Dish once a week. They're
Mm,
like freezer meals. They're all over the Twin Cities. You just go pick them
cool.
up. They're even in some Target stores. And so that's like a easy weeknight meal that I don't have to think about, and I can heat it up. It gives us by for like two
Yeah.
nights a week. So that's
Yeah.
helpful. And then from a business standpoint, right now, the help that I have a podcast editor and producer. So I press record and that's it. That helps me, saves me a bunch of time each week. Um, I do have someone who helps schedule, like with all my scheduling, like in my email, like
Mm,
client sessions. And so she'll send reminders to my clients so that really I could just show
mm,
up and lead the session.
love
Like
that.
show
Yeah.
up and do what I do best. And then she's sort of like an executive assistant. Like she helps me with my calendar. she'll like if people inquire to be on the podcast, she helps get them set up with it. She'll clean my inbox because I'm very terrible at that. I'm like a notifications, there's 1,000 notifications at all times. That doesn't bother me, but um, so that has really helped too. And I've kind of said that as my business grows, her workload will grow too.
Mhm.
And I like to start delegating that stuff before I quote unquote need to, because once you need to, it's almost too late. And so, yeah, she is kind of on call for like, we're going to amp this up probably going into Q4, Q1, and, we'll see how it grows. But that's what I have for support right now.
Yeah, I love it. And that is like, I mean, that's really all you need right now. And then you
All I
just
need right
pull
now.
it in as you scale and grow as needed, right? So I would say like I'm in a very similar state where it's like, yep, we have someone coming in to clean. I am grateful my husband and I pretty much share the cooking load like
That's
50-50,
great.
which is not the case for everybody, and I know that, so I'm super grateful.
That's
He's an
great.
awesome
It's
cook.
great.
So that's helpful, but yeah, I mean, and then I have like a right-hand person in my business, for Sister Circle who's been helping me build that business and grow that business, and then, like I said, I have a team for real estate, so, um, yeah, like having a team in every area is just so helpful. But I think that people think they need a full-time employee
Oh,
in order to bring on help a lot of times, and that is just so not the case. It's not
no.
the world we live in now. And some of this is just it's part-time work. I mean,
Very
that's
part
really what
time.
it is, but like you said, as you grow your business, her workload will grow, right?
Mhm.
So it's like you're gonna continue to get that ROI back for having outsourced these things because she's helping you say free up your time to then go make more money and do
Right.
more opportunities. Um,
Right.
so
And
it
I
is that payoff.
I think if someone's questioning getting help too, it's like just start small and
Mhm,
see how that feels. Like, because I don't know if you've ever done this, Stephanie, but I have actually overhired certain
mm,
times in my business. And, you kind of learn from those mistakes. And so, yeah, start small. Start by bringing on someone for maybe it's an hour a week and just to do some of the administrative stuff. And you can always scale it or retract it in time.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, some of this can just be, hey, we're going to try this for 2 or 3 months, and then we'll just reassess at the end of that and see how it goes.
Right.
And then you get to decide, like, you get to decide what you want to continue to outsource. And if you outsource something that you're like, I actually really enjoy doing that, and now I'm missing it, take it back. Like, it's yours to take.
Right.
But I do think a lot of it just comes down to control and being willing to give up some of that control, because when we're holding on and gripping so tightly, it's gonna hold us back. We're gonna end up becoming the bottleneck of our own business or life, because we are not willing to let someone come in, and it might not be perfect. It might not be how we would do it, but it's good enough. It's like that 80%, right? If it's 80%
Exactly.
there, awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you've read this book. I think Catherine and I talked about it, the Buy Back Your Time, Dan
Oh, I
Martell.
love that book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that really helped me kind of see this on a bigger scale and, get the playbook in place. And
Yes.
I loved his take on buy back your time.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, that's a book that I've referred to so many times because just implementing those things have been a total game changer. Well, I have loved this conversation, and I always end the podcast with one question, and that is, what is driving your soul today?
Oh my gosh, I like love that question. I had to like think about it a little bit, and I think it's a combination of a few things, but it's like, just I don't know, really stepping into who I am. I think it's really spending quality, good connection time with the people around me, like being outside, breathing the fresh air, moving my body. Like, I don't know, to me, all of that just like lights up my soul. Doing work that feels really good and like mission driven work.
Mhm.
That's what's lighting up my soul, Steph.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Molly. Where can we follow you and find out more about the awesome work that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely head over to Dream It, Do It podcast. That's my podcast. Stephanie
Yes.
is interviewed on there, so you can go listen to her interview. But I do a weekly episode, and I feel like that's where I share most of my my help that I give to clients, and a lot of good free value there. And then my Instagram, you can see more behind the scenes. That's molly.asplin. So, or mollyasplin.com as well. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Molly. And until next time, keep following what drives your soul.
Hey sis, if this episode spoke to you, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our weekly conversations that drop every Monday. And would you share this with a fellow sister that needs to hear this message too? If you're craving sisterhood, soul, and strategy in action, I'd love for you to step inside our Sister Circle community, where we gather, grow, and build intentional businesses together in real life and real time. I promise, business is more fun in sisterhood. Until next time, keep leading with soul, honoring your season, and don't forget, I'm always cheering for you.